Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Carmen McGuinness. In today's segment, I'm going to outline the research findings regarding the outcome for children, the adults they become, when they have fallen victim to parentification. This segment will be part of a series on the variables that lead to repeated involvement in toxic relationships. The intention, of course, is healing and prevention of another repeat of the same mistake. The series will unfold over the next several months and will be interspersed with other topics in addition to those within the series. So my followers will not just hear about this, but you'll continue to hear other topics as well. These will be interspersed within it. So today I'll discuss what we term parentification. To begin, let's briefly define the term. Parentification, also known as spousification, describes the blurring of natural hierarchical boundaries between parent and child, resulting in a more peer-like relationship or a role reversal between the adult and the child. The term was first used by the contextual therapist, I'm going to pronounce this name very carefully, Ivan Bozomenyi-Nagy, hyphenated. The working theory is that parentification disrupts critical identity development in the child. This is the natural development of a sense of self, of who you are, and how you're uniquely different to others, including your parents. My purpose in this segment is two-part. One, for the viewer to notice, understand, and move beyond the potential challenges for him or herself if he or she believes he was parentified as a child. And two, to notice and stop himself or the child's other caregivers if he feels that his child is being parentified. This isn't a blame game. I'm not here to point a finger at parents who are doing the very best that they can, but only to impart knowledge and help people notice when they see these negative things happening. I'm here, in short, to improve the lives of my viewers. So I'll begin. Numerous studies have noted that family crises such as abuse, drug or alcohol use, ongoing financial difficulties such as unemployment, divorce, and a parent with mental disturbance place the family at risk of blurring or reversing the roles of parent and child. The strongest predictor of a negative outcome for children of divorce is when the child was used to provide emotional support to their mother in particular. In fact, maternal parentification has been found to be the most common type of boundary dissolution associated with divorce. Psychologists differentiate between two types of parentification, instrumental and emotional. Instrumental parentification is commonly considered the less harmful of the two and takes the form of physical care. The child might take responsibility for laundry, dishes, shopping, babysitting for younger siblings, and other tasks that are typically assigned to the adult. We're not talking here of a mature child who's offering to help with laundry or dishes, or do his own laundry or dishes. I'm referring to a young child not ready for such burdens, or an adolescent who is made responsible for the care of his younger brothers or sisters, or for the parent themselves. While instrumental parentification is harmful, emotional parentification is considerably more detrimental. And this is when the child is put in a position in which he or she is a confidant to their parent. The parent treats him or her like a close friend or a spouse-like figure, confiding in the child, relying on the child for emotional regulation, and the child's own emotional needs take second place. So, on with some more research findings. Emotional parentification of girls was found most commonly in high conflict homes, regardless of the relationships of the relationship of the adults. These might be a single family home with a divorced spouse living elsewhere, or it could be, and there's conflict when there's interaction, or it could be a couple that's living together, not married. It doesn't matter what the relationship is, but when there is high conflict in the home, girls take a hard hit emotionally. Boys are more likely to be emotionally parentified in a divorce situation, and they're more likely than girls to be parentified by fathers. The longevity of the caretaking should also be considered. The longer the child is burdened with caretaking, the more detrimental it becomes. Obviously, a child might be asked to kick in with instrumental support if a parent is injured or ill. It's when instrumental support goes on that the damage can occur. And very important, any emotional support, any emotional parentification is harmful. Even a single episode can cause damage to a child. Age is also an important consideration. For example, a child who's 5 years old is completely unequipped to manage the emotional needs of a parent, whereas a 16-year-old could maybe start to become mom's friend, but it can't become an emotional burden on the child. The 16-year-old also might suffer damage, but the 5-year-old hasn't even established a sense of self yet. The 16-year-old, at least, who say it's a first incident, mom breaks down, something bad happens and mom breaks down, that 16-year-old has a sense of self already. And as long as it's not a recurrent pattern, will probably not sustain long-term damage. But with younger children, this can't occur at all. And with older children, it should not be ongoing. Also a consideration is the degree to which the child internalizes the parentification as part of his or her own identity and interpersonal style. If a child is offering emotional support in a situation that's repetitively victimization, he or she is at risk of internalizing that victim persona. We see this a lot in physical abuse situations. Some studies found that perceived fairness was an important mediator in terms of the outcome of instrumental parentification. We're talking instrumental here, not emotional, indicating that the degree to which one views his or her responsibilities at home as fair is quite important. So if your 14-year-old is offering to do his little sister's laundry, you might let him. But don't take this as an indication that he should be doing the weekly housekeeping as well. And if he's asking about your emotional well-being, it's best to simply reassure him that all is well and getting better every day. Certain outcomes may occur at the time of parentification, while others affect children much later in life. In one study, blurred boundaries as early as 24 months old was found to predict depression and anxiety at the age of 7 years. Now you might ask, what in the world would it look like to parentify a 24-month-old? Unfortunately, it does happen. I've observed parents saying things like, "My goodness, you're demanding," to their 2-year-old, and then turn to me and say he's just like his father. Another mother confided during a therapy session that she had said things like, "Mommy really needs to sleep tonight," as she laid her child down to bed, when in fact she really had a date coming over. Now these are examples of relying or attempting to rely on a toddler for adult-style cooperation or support, when the natural order of things is for the toddler to rely on the parent. In addition to childhood anxiety and depression, early parentification has also been associated with attention deficit disorder, rampant today in our schools. And there are indicators that the ability to learn may be affected. In a large study in 1998, it was found that college students placed in a special study program as a result of either low high school grades or low SAT scores were more likely, when they took reports, history reports regarding these children, they were more likely to have reported that they had taken on caretaking roles as children, caretaking roles in their home. So parentification has also been correlated to childhood somatic symptoms, aches and pains, headaches, digestive difficulties, and other physical ailments that can't be explained. And parentification has been found to be predictive of early sexual behavior, alcohol and marijuana use, and conduct problems in adolescence. Many studies suggest that parentification results in internalizing disorders later in life. Depression and anxiety symptoms were found in middle-aged men and women who'd been emotionally parentified as children by a parent suffering specifically with depression in that particular study. In a 2010 study using a large sample of undergraduate students, researchers found that greater degrees of parentification in childhood were related to higher levels of depression and reduced quality of life in college students. The effect was higher among female undergraduates than it was among males. But research shows that later disturbances occur in males. The onset is more likely to occur slightly later in life. In a 2015 study, researchers found that parentification by the father was associated in particular with delayed symptoms of depression, with symptoms arising as late as midlife. Though both depression and anxiety can occur whether the parent is the mother or father, and the child is male or female, a sex difference was noted in one study. Apparently, father-daughter parentification is related to depression and anxiety, while maternal parentification with either the daughter or the son is strongly associated with anxiety in particular. Low self-esteem seems to be equally distributed for both males and females, and regardless of which parent is parentifying. Another study looked specifically at an internal sense of shame, revealing that childhood parentification is also associated with greater amounts of shame in mature adults. Parentification is believed to disrupt interpersonal relationships in various ways. For example, parentification is associated with romantic dissatisfaction and insecurity surrounding romantic and sexual experiences in emerging adults. It's possible that emotional role reversal causes the young adult to have a greater need for reassurance about his or her own value, resulting from a decreased sense of self-worth. And of course, we can well imagine this would come out of an individual who doesn't have a secure sense of self. Sadly, these children, who are so burdened to care for others in childhood, often grow up to exhibit dependent behaviors in their own adult relationships. In general, children who are parentified have difficulty developing a strong sense of self to carry them through the trials of adult life. And finally, not surprisingly, childhood parentification has been shown to result in persistent personality characteristics such as narcissistic personality disorder, dependent personality disorder, and dissociation. In closing, and as always, please don't hesitate to contact me if you feel you need additional help with this or to talk. I work out of my Central Florida office, and I also work on a HIPAA-secure web platform with clients in states in which I'm credentialed. And this information is on Well, it's on the YouTube channel, and it's on links that are provided in the About section. I sincerely hope this has been helpful, and I sincerely hope that your day is sunny and filled with joy. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for viewing.